Hello and good morning. Welcome back to another episode of the Forest Lake Morning Show. I'm Tyler.
I'm Brendan.
And today we're talking about whether or not you should go to a music school.
Yeah.
Because you've gone to a music school.
No, almost.
Almost went to a music school.
Yeah. And I think this is kind of a big debate.
Why?
There's a lot of people in music who say like, yeah, you need to go to college for music, go get a degree, get hands-on experience, network, do all that stuff. And then others are like, why are you spending the money? Why? There's no point.
Right.
So we're going to talk about it.
Yeah. Go ahead and dive right in with your experience that you almost went to what music school and where.
Yeah. So coming out of high school, I almost went to Musicians Institute in LA. Mm-hmm. And it was my guitar instructor at the time had gone there and he said great things. It's awesome school. You network. You're going to have some of the best instructors in the U.S. And there, there's always that hope that like some big artist or band will come pick you up. And so it was a big guitar school, big guitar, bass, it was huge. And so it was kind of an attracting thing, like, oh, you can still go to college, but it's music. You're just doing music all day, every day,
right?
Learning from the best. So it was very appealing. And so I went out there one summer for like their summer camp or something like that. And it was cool. It was a lot of fun.
Audition based? Or
no, it's just you go and kind of it's like or a week in the life or something like that.
But is it audition based to get in or no?
For the actual application process, I think. I'm not entirely sure, but
okay. So cool experience there for that week.
Yeah, but it's pretty cool school,
but not enough to get you to want to go there.
Yeah, so I think like a big drawback to going to college for music is the cost. Mm-hmm. It's expensive. It's like any other college. You're going to have a yearly tuition that's going to be up there tens of thousands, especially something in LA of all places. So it's expensive, number one. Number two, you're also kind of on the side of like, I can do this on my own. I can be self-taught. I can, go out there and just move to LA or move anywhere and do it on my own. So that's kind of the other side of it. But I think also it just depends on what you're trying to do. Do you want to go to school for guitar, bass? Are you a vocalist? Or do you want to go on more of the audio production side of things? You want to be a mix engineer or just a producer. And there's schools for that. There's different schools for that. So I think it's kind of, you go off of what you're trying to do,
right?
Yes, but
I'd say what comes to my mind is that obviously everyone's situation is going to be different. So it's hard to speak generally across the board, but I totally understand where you're coming from. Or two, some jobs that you have in the music industry do require a college degree. If we look at let's bring it down to music education, music therapy, things like that.
Exactly.
You go to school, you get a degree, and it's still a degree in music or some sort of educational form surrounding music. So you go to school for that. You need a degree. And there's plenty of jobs. I
think teaching especially comes to mind. If you're doing anything teaching, you have to have a bachelor or even a master's nowadays,
right?
Or something.
And Bachelor of Arts, I would assume, or something. I don't know if there's actual.
Is there? I think there is a
Bachelor of Music. I don't think so.
I don't know.
But music, I'm sure there are some specific music things, like music therapy probably is a specific certification you can get. Sure. We went to School of Rock with somebody who does music therapy at a hospital that's still back in Cleveland, which is really cool. It's great to see that there are jobs that you can go to school for music and get paid to do what you love. But you're right. Then when you talk about the performance and the composition side, it's like, well, that market is so huge and there's such stiff competition because everyone's doing it. Do you need to go to school for that, right? Like, you go to the Berklee, do you go to the Juilliard, do you go to Musicians Institute is what it was? MI? Yeah.
Yep.
That's where you're really drawing the line, right? You should never go to school to get a degree for the sake of getting a degree. And that's even just for regular university or college. Or if you feel pressured to from your parents, you really have to sit down and ask yourself, if you're not fortunate enough to have parents help you pay for things like this, like Berklee, which I'm sure you'll jump into here in a minute, and you have to take on that debt yourself to pay back, you really got to be smart and consider, especially at a young age, right? You're 18, maybe you are musically gifted, but you got to look and say, damn, like, this is a lot of money that I'm going to have to pay for, if scholarships don't cut it.
That's kind of the other thing. Like, you can go and pay their tuition. I think Berklee's a 4-year program,
Mm-hmm.
2 or 4 years. I
Berklee,
know MI is a 2-year program. I think Berklee might be 4.
Berklee has 2 locations, right? They're in Boston, Massachusetts.
Yeah.
And then don't they have one in LA? Isn't there
Yeah,
one?
I think that's a different school.
It's a
I think it's
different
Berklee, but I think it's spelled differently.
Oh. Okay.
But
the honcho of music schools is Berklee in Boston.
Yeah.
We've had plenty of people go there that we know.
Yeah. We've had a couple buddies that have gone there, and some like it, some hate it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some people you don't need it. And then also there's no guarantee of a job afterwards. So, you know, you're paying all that money,
right? And
it's like, okay, you know, the market's still pretty competitive in that field. Are you going to get a job?
What's the cost to go to Berklee?
I think it kind of varies. You know, there's in-state and out-of-state tuition, but I think 30 to 40,000 is the tuition. Yeah.
So half a semester.
Yeah. Which, I mean, is up there with big alumni colleges, you know?
Yeah, no, that's a big price tag there.
Yeah, a little bit.
And then that's obviously if you get a scholarship, I'm sure they do scholarships or tuition's aid or maybe something like that. But still, you're talking $20,000 a semester. That's insane.
Yeah. But I think the appeal is, okay, I can go to college, do music all day, every day. You know, maybe we form some bands or meet people while we're there. We're networking, meeting industry people. You're getting taught from the best. You know, if you're going for audio production or mixing, you're getting hands-on with like a console and outboard gear and all that stuff. And you're kind of learning how all of that works, which is great. You know, that's very useful experience if that's what you want to be doing. I think on the other side of that, you know, the self-taught route for music production, mixing, that kind of stuff, just do it. Mm-hmm. Like, just get into it. Get Pro Tools and just start somewhere. Start mixing. You know, because there are cheap ways to get into it. You know, YouTube is a huge resource. And when I was getting into production and so like a little bit of mixing, it was all YouTube. And you have big name mix engineers that are on there teaching you how to do this, how to use this piece of gear or this plug-in version of the gear. And they break it down for you.
It's crazy that YouTube hasn't competed with these colleges and created like YouTube University. You know what I mean?
YouTube University.
I'm telling you, you can learn so much off of YouTube. I've learned
you really
incredible things off YouTube.
Yeah. We live in a great time for that.
And not even music related. I'm talking about anything. Anything you want to try and fix around the house or anything you're trying to do with your car, somebody probably posted a video on how to do it on YouTube. It's a great resource.
Yeah.
Now, does it mean it's true? Not necessarily in certain cases, but for the most part, it's by the people for the people. So I trust it.
Yeah. I think so. I have an interesting story for you. For those of you who know who Steve Vai is, Steve Vai is like probably one of the best guitar players in the world. One of the most well known.
Yeah.
He went to Berklee
College of Music. Okay.
He went to Berklee College of Music, and there was a funny story that I read that while he was there, I think like him and a buddy or something went to a label or something like that, and like a local music label, and they stole a Rolodex that had contact information for like all of the artists signed to that label.
That is brilliant.
And so he goes back home, he's like sifting through it, and he finds Frank Zappa.
Yeah.
And he sees his house address and his phone number, and so he calls him. And it was Zappa's wife, because Zappa was on tour at the time. And he's like, hey, I'm Steve Vai, a guitar player. I'd love to send a demo tape to Frank.
Yeah.
And she was like, you know what? He's not here, but come back or call back in 6 months or something like that, and he'll probably be back. So every 6 months, Steve Vai picked up the phone, called Frank Zappa. I think he got his wife again for like the next couple times. So then 6 months again, and finally Frank picked up the phone, and he heard the demo tapes, and he's like, you know what? Let's give this kid a shot. And he got picked up by Frank Zappa, and that's how he got started.
That's incredible. Consistency.
Yeah. That's funny. You just hound people.
Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of a theme for a lot of big bands. Like, they would just hound labels or hound people and just get out there. And eventually they're like, all right, fine.
Yeah.
Come on.
I think it just reflects the hustle that somebody who really wants it will go through to get it.
Yeah.
Which is something you need. And obviously, I'm sure Steve Vai was probably a more than good guitar player at that point, right? He's heard the demo. So just works out. You can't say that for everybody who is willing to maybe put the work in, but it just doesn't have it. But,
sure.
Really interesting story nonetheless. So did he finish Berklee?
No, he dropped out. He dropped out.
I was like,
that's kind of touching back on like you go to these schools maybe for just exposure.
Yeah.
Or just, being around that environment. If he hadn't gone to Berklee, where would he be today? He wouldn't have stolen the Rolodex. He might not be the Steve Vai that we know today. But
where would we be if we went to Berklee? We might be better off. Who knows? I mean, who knows?
Never know.
You never know. Yeah. But no,
I think honestly, like, a music school is good if you're dead set on doing it, being a musician, and maybe you're a beginner. Like, maybe you don't know a lot. You don't know a lot of theory. You don't know scales, that kind of stuff. Well, or if you're doing the production side.
You're not going to pass on auditions and get into Berklee if you're a beginner. Let's be honest.
I think you would.
No, you're not.
I think you would. No, you're not. Because they're going to teach you all that stuff.
Do you know how competitive that school is?
Okay, maybe not Berklee, but all these other music schools. Yeah. That are going to bring you up, teach you the basics, and make you a better player.
I like how optimistic you are.
I think you
can get into Berklee. You just picked up the bass yesterday. Come on, man.
Okay, but you look at the other side. Like, if you have a really good guitar player who knows all the theory, knows everything.
Yes.
Why would that person go to school for 4 years for guitar, relearn all this stuff if he already knows it? You know?
I think touching on what you're talking about right there is worth saying that. Say you don't get into Berklee if you audition, if it's something you want to do, you shouldn't beat yourself up on the fact that you have to go to a different music school that's not Berklee, because Berklee is like it is prestigious. It's like prestigious.
Yeah.
But if you go to somewhere else, it doesn't mean there aren't really incredibly skilled teachers and programs in place for you to become a successful person, right? With any field, just because you don't go to Harvard doesn't mean you're not going to be successful in whatever you get a degree in at a state college or even community college. And on that note, I think as well, another thing to mention with music industry related things, touching back, like, there are so many more jobs in the music industry than performance and composition or production. Or even engineering. When you talk about all the AR related things, managing and this and that and the third, I don't know if you would actually go to school and get a music degree, but you go to school and get a business or whatever, probably some sort of degree, but you can still work in the music industry. And we saw a video that Akon just was interviewed with, or it was released recently, and Akon's like, yo,
he was spitting some truth, man.
He was spitting some hardcore truth, telling you basically the artists are the last to get paid, and you should just consider all the other jobs that are out there in the music industry that are going to pay you first, like being a songwriter or
producer, songwriter,
or being in the business side of it.
Yeah. I see where he's coming from. I mean, him being an artist, he knows firsthand, obviously he's been very successful with it, but yeah, the artist is the last person to get paid.
And it's hard for the artist, people like us, people that are on the bottom, to really reach the peak. I mean, we like just being up front, everyone listening or watch this. I mean, to reach superstardom is an incredibly lucky thing.
Yeah.
In most cases, I'm sure there are some people who are just born into it. Like, Miley Cyrus her dad's already a star. She's just talent. She's born talented. She can just have better opportunities and access to things. In those cases, but then some cases you really just get lucky. And obviously, everything's going to require hard work. I'm not downplaying people just getting lucky and not putting in work, but the opportunities out there in the music industry are so vast that you kind of have to just see what might work for you the best in the long term. And maybe it's not going to school for $20,000 a semester,
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Like,
most of those people that graduate Berklee probably come out and are session cats. That's what I'm assuming?
Probably session cats, or they become teachers. Maybe they stay at the school as a teacher, or go on and do their own thing.
I wonder what they probably have tight admission. So it's not like I know it's probably not big school. It's very selective. So it's probably not a big graduating class each year.
Yeah, but it's like any major music city that you go to will have a great music college. LA.
Nashville got one?
Nashville has one. Our buddy went there. What's that called?
For audio engineering?
No, for guitar. I'm blanking on it. But there's a big one downtown Nashville.
It's music school.
Big music school.
Where's Juilliard? New York?
Juilliard.
That's a music school, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah. Man,
notice how Tampa doesn't have one.
Tampa does not have one. Tampa's, it's more tech and...
There's a big one in Atlanta, too. I'm just blanking on all these today.
Well, Well, there's the one that our engineer teaches at.
Yeah.
SAE.
SEI?
SAE.
SAE?
Yeah.
Is that SAE?
Institute. SAE.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah.
I
hope
know.
I'm not wrong. Sorry, I didn't know. No, SAE. Yeah, there are schools all around. And that's to say, like, yo, that again, repeating, you don't get into Berklee or you don't go to these top 5 schools of all time, doesn't mean you're not going to get an incredible education elsewhere. Do what you think is best for you. That's the end of the conversation right there. And go to a place that's affordable and
YouTube, baby.
Yeah, go to youtube.com.
I would say, honestly, start on YouTube.
Start on YouTube.
If you, at that point, especially like, I don't know. There's really like the 2 paths, and I think they're a little different if you're going for like an instrument or production.
Right.
Because obviously, if you're going for production, it's nice to be around the big consoles, all the gear.
Yeah. YouTube's just not accredited, so if you go to somebody and you're trying to get a job, they're not going to value your YouTube degree. But you can.
It's skills, man.
If you learn those skills and you produce and you have that work of like, hey, this is what I've done, and people are like, I don't care where you went. If that's what it's.
Yeah, and maybe like for the audio side, audio engineering, maybe like the industry's changing a little bit because nowadays the plugins are so good that emulate the gear. You know, like the UAD plugins sound amazing. They're really good. Granted, they're a little more expensive, but a lot cheaper than a music degree, a lot cheaper than all the gear. And, you know, there's dozens and hundreds of tutorials on like each plugin. Yeah. Like how to use it, what to use it for, you know. And so, I don't know. I feel like back in the day, it was great to like be hands-on with the console. But nowadays, you know, a lot of mix engineers are in the box. You know, Serbian Gnia's all in the box, and this makes it sound incredible just using plugins. So I think it's kind of, you know, you pick your side.
Right.
You know, if you want that hands-on experience of being in a room with the gear and learning how to do that, the routing, learning everything, then I think, you know, a music college would be great, but it's not necessary.
Now, if you were asked to speak at a Berklee College graduation ceremony,
music colleges are great. Please come to Berklee.
I was gonna say, watching in 10 years' time when Forest Lakes, you know, wherever we're at, and you're on the cover of all these magazines as the lead guitarist.
Oh, that'd be rough.
And they're like, "Yo, Brendan Schulman, come speak for these kids at Berklee College of Music, graduating class."
I wouldn't do it.
This is gonna age poorly.
Yeah.
This is that thing where
this is the one
where they come back and they're like, wait a second.
This is it.
This is what he said.
This is the downfall of Forest Lake.
That guy. Goddamn.
Yep.
Actually, they would probably just know it and just not have you come speak. But they do. I will say Berklee has some cool mofos come in and speak at graduation ceremonies. I've had my dad tell me, he's like, I don't even go to Berklee, and he's telling me about people speaking at Berklee College of Music. You know, and I'm like, cool. I mean, I am impressed. I'm like, wow, they really got
I think
some cool people.
John Mayer went to Berklee. I'm pretty sure he went to Berklee.
He graduated?
A lot of big artists went to Berklee.
Did these big artists graduate Berklee?
That's another question. I don't know.
That's the other question.
Yeah.
I mean, let's not even talk about how many artists went to college and didn't go for music, but still are successful. Coldplay. I'm 99% sure all 4 of them have a degree. They met at a university in London. They graduated? In the UK. Yeah, they graduated. I don't know what their degrees are in, but college-educated people. Ryan Tedder, another one. He's college-educated.
Yeah.
Don't think he went for music. I think he went for... I can't say.
I don't know.
But we talked about it. He talked about it, and then he ended up in like 30 grand of debt, college debt. He talked about it in that one interview we watched. Yeah. Plenty of college-educated individuals.
I thought it was funny. I think it was Ryan Tedder saying that he would just get all the credit cards that he could and just max it out on gear. Like, just buy all the gear that he could.
Just so he's like, see, that's confidence. He's like, I know this is going to work.
Yeah.
But what about the Ryan Tedders out there that it didn't work for right now? You know, they're like, fuck.
Just 40K
in credit card debt. And they don't have a Ryan Tedder style hit.
Yep.
Yeah, at the end of the day, don't go to college for the sake of going to college, especially if it's music college. Just do what you love, and if it works out for you, do what's going to be best for you, I feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Easy as that.
Simple. There's no music schools in Cleveland, are there?
CSU is a program.
Oh, yeah, they do have a music.
Yeah.
That's like if you... I wonder... Yeah, because you can go to actual university if you're like a orchestra or band player and probably...
Yeah.
I mean, but you got to be good for those people. Because if you're looking for a job coming out of something like that, you're probably looking to get a gig with like the
Trans-Siberian Orchestra.
Yeah, Trans-Siberian Orchestra or like the Cleveland Orchestra.
Yeah.
I mean, those are cats. Those are skilled individuals.
But you look at like how many musicians nowadays don't even know how to read music. You know?
Yeah.
I think that's...
Do you?
No. I mean, I could probably do like Mary Had a Little Lamb, maybe.
I can read it, but I can't do it and play at the same time. Like I have to sit there and do it note by note.
Yeah, no, I'd be super slow.
It takes me super slow.
You ever see like the grandmas sit down on a piano and they're just like, they put the glasses on and they're just so fast.
No.
There was that whole trend, I think for like the Wii song.
Yeah.
Like the Wii Sports song or something, like the theme song.
Grandma doing it?
Yeah, it's like all these grandmas just like reading the sheet music and they're just so good at it.
They were just forced to go to piano lessons.
Don't even hit a wrong note. Yeah, like they're great.
I have seen a number of videos of people doing like skilled pianists. Incredible what they can do.
Yeah, I know.
So
Steve Vai would compose like everything. Like he wrote down everything, and I think for Frank Zappa, he was like his main like composer. Like
really
wrote everything down.
No shit.
Yeah.
So it worked out for Frank Zappa to have that guy on board.
Yeah, for sure.
So what you're saying is, because we did talk about it, the most important instrument to have over a guitar is the piano.
No.
It's the keyboard.
No chance.
You were saying he composed those on piano?
No. Transcribed, I guess.
Oh.
Just wrote it down on sheet music.
Oh, okay. Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Oh, so that dude's brilliant.
Smart.
Didn't even need Berklee needed him. That's what it is. You know?
Yeah.
That's the other thing too. Some of these colleges, they want, I would assume if you're Berklee and you find these people that are like that, they want them.
Oh yeah.
To be, because I don't know what the dropout rate at Berklee is, but I'm sure if you see people like that, you're like, damn, this is like the cat that'll get through.
I feel like a dropout rate at a school like that is not really indicative of how good the school is, though. Because you have guys like Steve Vai and like all these bigger artists that drop out because they go and do their own thing and become successful with that, not because they drop out because they're failures.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, that's true. I would have to know the stat on it, but yeah. Any closing remarks on the notion of schools? So final words.
Do your homework.
Oh, is that what you're saying? That's what you're saying.
No. I'm just saying, do your homework. Know what you want, and yeah, YouTube's always free. Just start on YouTube. Work your way up. Yeah,
from YouTube to Berklee.
Yes.
There you go. Actually, on that note too, check out YouTube, because YouTube will have people who went to Berklee, who are in Berklee. Plenty of videos of them telling you, don't just listen to us, but listen to other people who've actually, I don't know, maybe went there and can give you a better insight on it.
That'd be pretty useful, yeah.
Yeah, we're just, again, this is all just our opinion. So go to YouTube if you want to actually learn. People will teach you, but also see what other people say. You know, is it worth it? Go read online forums and you'll get a good sense of whether or not it's worth it or not.
Yeah, I think that kind of sums it up.
Wraps it up for today.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Forest Lake Morning Show. I'm Tyler.
Brendan.
And we will see you next week.